Hey everybody, Peace Outcast here, back with more Everlasting Summer, and we are continuing on trying to get Ulyana's good route. So we're going to go searching for Shurik in the bunker with Ulyana. Count me in. I looked at Ulyana, astonished. Her thirst for adventure seemed to have no limits. Look, night, ghosts, an old camp, it's great. On the one hand, such company always promises trouble, but on the other hand, it feels safer going together. Perfect. Having said our goodbyes to the other girls and Olga, we were left alone. Do you consider this just an entertaining walk? Well, yes, what's the matter? Ulyana giggled. Never mind, really, I sighed. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna fetch a flashlight. Okay. I was just about to suggest that myself. It seemed I would not only have to visit an abandoned camp at night, but also look after a fidgety child. Well, since it's Ulyana, I should be twice as cautious. Electronique had told us the old building was built right after the war. It looked like a kindergarten or a barracks. I expected and definitely would hold less pioneers than today's camp. It had been abandoned for about 20 years. Ulyana skipped forward as if everything was just a game to her. I was ill at ease. Actually, that was normal for a person in my situation. In the night forest with scary animals and birds eager to swoop down on you. The full moon and this whole other world I had come into not too long ago. I might be better off all alone, without needing to look after Ulyana, who is running in front of me. How hasn't she tripped over something yet? Listen, be careful. Or what? She turned around so quickly that I shivered. Nothing, you may hurt yourself. Are you worried about me? Of course I am. I mean, that's normal in such a situation. Ulyana pouted. Listen. I decided to continue our conversation. It's more relaxing and less scary this way. But what is it about that old camp you were saying back there at the square? Yeah, it's a really scary place. They say all the pioneers died there and became ghosts which guard their last earthly refuge. What did they die from? It's kind of hard to believe her scary tales. How should I know? I wasn't even born back then. But you say it so confidently. I got information from a reliable source. And where would that be? Alyssa? Not gonna tell ya. So what happened next? They died and became ghosts? That's all. What do you mean that's all? And now the souls of the dead pioneers roam around the camp and take everyone who dares to enter the world of the dead. Wow, okay, move along. Time passed. We went deeper into the depths of the woods where the trees enclosed everything. Suddenly I realized that the forest had gone completely silent, as if the night birds had hidden in waiting for something, and the insects had dug into the ground. Even the wind had died away. I imagined that the streams of moonlight breaking through the thick foliage were ringing like plucked strings. At last trees parted and we walked out into a large glade. In the middle of it was an old building resembling a kindergarten. It was shrouded in a thick fog. It looked like we'd come out into a cemetery, and the old camp building at its center was a crypt. According to Ulyana, there were pioneer souls roaming here. Truly, it was like a mass grave. I shiver and clench the flashlight tighter. A dreadful place, to tell you the truth. Oh, come on. She patted me on the back cheerfully, which only made me more scared. I was about to move forward when the moon showed among clouds, illuminating the glade and the old camp building and us. Under that light, everything seemed not so old. The crumbling brickwork, rusty slide and merry-go-round, the few panes of glass that miraculously remained in some of the windows, they all became more vivid. I started to imagine that unknown monsters came out to the glade from the forest, a place of eternal darkness where even the moon can't reign. I hoped that they fear the light, like vampires. Or maybe they could turn into giant wolves at full moon like werewolves. Why have you stopped? I'm thinking. About what? Why would Shurik want to come to such a place? How should I know? We'll ask him when we find him. Yes, obviously. I mumbled and followed Ulyana. We walked more carefully now, looking under her feet. Or she walked more carefully, stopping occasionally and even looking back several times. That's natural. In some places the grass reached her chest height, and nobody knew what could be there on the ground. Scrap metal, stones, shattered glass. We finally reached the door. Ulyana stopped and said, "Well, here we are." As if you'd won a race. This isn't a game. You're... what? Boring. I made a displeased face and stepped confidently into darkness. It was dangerous to let Ulyana go first. Dangerous for her. Dangerous for me. And maybe even for all humanity. The inside of the old camp building made an even more depressing impression. I even felt sad for it at a moment. Or probably the people who lived here back then. It had surely been full of the joy of children in the past. Pioneers ran around, played games I'd forgotten. A strict leader like Olga maintained order. One session ended and a new one started. And now it's just standing here, crumbling, rotting, forgotten. Look! Ulyana gave me an old ruined doll falling apart from the damp. One more piece of the past. So what? Nothing. She moved out of the light, but I noticed sorrow on her face. As sad as the cemetery. Scary. I haven't seen anything scary yet. It was indeed more relaxing in here than outside. It really was like a cemetery as you look for a specific grave while walking among countless tombstones, feeling discomfort inside, but then you find it and your soul calms as you lie next to it. I shuddered and let the flashlight play around the room. There's no sign of Shurik. However, what did I expect to find here? His corpse? Looks like he isn't here. What about the second floor? Shurik! I called loudly, but only my echo answered me. Shurik, come out! See? We should check anyway. Okay. There were no signs of life on the second floor either. I sat on the stairs and hung my head, feeling doomed. Where to next? We can't walk around the whole forest, and I'm already sleepy. Why do you whine so much? Ulyana was irritated. Whining and whining, just like a kid. Oh, am I wrong? Right or wrong, what's the difference? If we were looking for Shurik, we must find him. But how? I begged. I don't know, somehow. Ulyana looked like a strict teacher and myself like a careless schoolboy. But shouldn't it be the other way around? Look. I turned the light in the direction she pointed and noticed a trap door in the corner, surrounded by garbage. It looked like it had been opened not too long ago. He must be down there for sure. Ulyana rushed to the hatch and made a great effort to open it. Why would he go down there? There's probably, I don't know, some villagers. Is there a village nearby? I don't know. Ulyana replied, breathing heavily. She hadn't managed to open the trap door. I started thinking. There was surely a possibility that Shurik might be there. I didn't know much about the world after all. Actually, I knew nothing. Why should the local residents act according to my logic? Could it be that he tried to escape down there, running away from wolves? Are there any wolves, though? Maybe owls? Okay, let's check it out. I strained my muscles and managed to open the trapdoor. It crashed loudly on the cracked wooden floor, and at the same moment, Ulyana leaned over the hatchway, lighting up the basement with a flashlight. It's some sort of tunnel. A tunnel? I pulled her back by the scruff of the neck to look in there myself. Hey! Curiosity killed the cat. There was indeed a long tunnel running into the darkness. It looked like a dungeon from a computer game. There wasn't any danger at first sight. No waist-deep water, no rats, no zombies. Okay, let's climb down there and look, but be careful. Roger that, Ulyana beamed. Ugh. It was really dark down there. The flashlight did little to help. It dimly illuminated concrete walls, lamps hanging from the ceiling, entangled in wires and garbage abundantly covering the floor. We slowly moved forward. I held Ulyana's hand, fearing she would run ahead of me. Probably I was a bit worried about myself, too, not wanting to be alone in this thick darkness. Maybe we should go back. Sure couldn't have gone so far. What if he had a flashlight? Well, even with a flashlight, what would he be doing here? I don't know. Aren't you interested in what lies ahead? Not a bit. I'm more interested in... I didn't finish the sentence. A massive metal door suddenly appeared before us as if from thin air. I instantly noticed a biohazard sign. Bomb shelter? I realized. Probably. Have you heard anything about it? I don't know. Does it matter? Does it? What if there's radiation? What radiation? From where? Yes, you're right. I took hold of the door's wheel and tried to move it. It yielded, to my surprise, and groaned like a dying dinosaur. The door opened at last, and Ulyana ran in there as soon as it did. Hey! Behind the door was probably the main shelter room. There were several beds next to me, some devices near the furthest wall, lockers. Fluorescent lamps on the ceiling brightly illuminated the room. Where does the electricity come from? Are the backup generators still working? Turned off a flashlight to save the battery. Ulyana started to rummage the lockers at once, taking out gas masks, packages, and various tools. Don't you have anything better to do? No. She looked at me with displeasure. I sat on the neatly made bed and looked around one more time. Right across the room from me was a door, the same as the one we entered. Could Sherrick have gone through there? If he was here at all? And why? Why the long face? Just tired. I honestly confessed. Then rest for a while. Ulyana jumped at me and pushed me in the chest. I reeled back in surprise and hit my head against the wall. What are you doing? I grabbed her arms and pulled her towards me. She lost her balance and fell next to me. Ouch! You started this. Ulyana stuck out her tongue and sat up. Well, what's next? There, the other door. Oh, sure. Sherrick predicted a nuclear war and decided to hide beforehand, did he? Maybe he did. Maybe. The shelter is too close to the surface. It could protect against the radiation, but if the bombs fell close enough... You're so serious about these matters. She smirked. I really didn't know when to be serious with her and when to joke. Seems like the age difference between us really matters here. How big is it? 10 years more? I sighed and stood up from the bed. Okay, let's try. That door was less compliant than the first one. The bolts creaked, but the wheel didn't budge a centimeter. Seems jammed. Let me... Ulyana rushed to the door with a crowbar she got who knows where and applied herself to it with all her unimpressive weight. Oh, that gave us a chance. I helped her, and soon the door fell to the floor with a bang. The hinges turned out to be completely rusted. Seems that not everything was made to last back then. Behind the door was a tunnel, almost the same as the one we'd come here through. Don't do anything stupid. I took Ulyana by the hand and stepped out of the room. Ugh. It was another endless tunnel. The ceiling seemed to become lower, even though I logically realized that it did not change. Ulyana didn't seem to be bothered at all, though. She was humming as she walked. It annoyed me more and more. Looks like you're having fun. Of course I am, aren't you? No, I don't see any reason to have fun. We should find Sherrick quickly and get out of here. He may not be here at all. Then why the hell... Look! Ulyana snatched the flashlight from my hand. There was a huge hole in the ground a couple of meters in front of us. He may be down there. She walked to the edge and leaned. Some rails. Looks like there was a mine under this tunnel. The depth of the hole was low enough to let us climb out of it, so I knew that what Ulyana would say next. Come on! I wanted to object, but she had jumped down, leaving me in complete darkness. Hey! I had to follow her. I don't know what they dug for here, but the mine had been abandoned for a long time. The planks had become damp, the rails were rusted, earth broke through the walls in some places. The whole tunnel leading into the unknown was suspicious. It looked like it was about to collapse in various. Come on. Ulyana desperately pulled on my arm. Where to? Why? What would Sherrick be doing here? What if... She made a serious face. What if he's sitting here somewhere injured and waiting for help, and we just turn around and go, leaving him to die? I estimated the height of the ceiling one more time and walked slowly after the restless Ulyana. Ugh. Soon we reached a fork. Let's go to the right. Wait. I grabbed her arm. What's the matter? What if it's a dead end? Or worse than a dead end? A whole labyrinth? Well, she thought. Then let's mark the starting point. Ulyana picked up a large stone from the ground and scratched across. Oh, pardon me. Scratched across on one of the beams that supported the ceiling. Do you think that'll help? It will. Probably I will have to choose where to go. I just can't leave it to a little girl. Well, we keep going left, so let's try right. Seems that there's another fork in the road. And another fork. At last we left a tunnel and found ourselves in a hall with a high ceiling. Though it could hardly be called a hall, they must have used to mine something here. Coal, probably, or maybe gold. The walls had been cut by pickaxes or pneumatic drills. This place was pitch black, so our only salvation was the flashlight. If it breaks, it's unlikely we will ever get out of here. By its light, I noticed a red piece of cloth on the corner. It was a pioneer neckerchief. Shurik was obviously here somewhere. Shurik! 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 Only our echoes answered us. I hope he's okay. Don't worry, we'll find him. But where could he have gone? There's no other exit from this room. It's possible that there are places in this tunnel that we haven't visited. Seems like we still have to keep looking for him. Oh, so you have to go left. Hello? Took a wrong turn somewhere. Let's keep searching. Left. Seems another fork. Left. Came to some kind of pioneer or miner's camp. Picks and helmets everywhere. Rusty wagon stood in the corner. Oh, I get to skip. Good. Left. Keep going left. There you go. Last, the ray of flashlight revealed an old wooden door in the darkness. Here we are. Where? Somewhere. I don't know. But she was right about something. At least we'd gotten out of the labyrinth. After all these turns and forks, I wasn't sure that we'd ever make it back. But, on the other hand, why wouldn't this mine have any exits? Ulyana opened the door and stared into the darkness. So, you won't go first as usual? Well, okay. I stepped over the threshold. Small room is beyond the door. Maybe a storage room for the bomb shelter? There were bottles and cigarette stubs, which means that somebody had been here before us. Wasn't an encouraging fact by itself, but now I was certain there was another exit from the mine, since they couldn't have come the same way as we did. The ray of light moved around the room, examining every corner. Suddenly it lit up a human figure. It was Shurik, huddling up against one of the walls. Hey, there you are. We've been looking for you all night, and you seemed you hadn't even noticed us, just sitting and mumbling something. Shurik. Who? Who's that? What do you mean, who? Your rescue team. Get up, let's go. I won't go anywhere with you, he mumbled. You'll lead me around these tunnels again, I know. I won't go anywhere. I'll stay right here, and you won't get me. Stop with your nonsense. Looks like he's gone insane. No, you won't trick me this time. Stop it already. I took a few steps towards Shurik, but he jumped up at once and waved a metal rod. Don't come near me, leave me alone. Calm down, it's me, Semyon. Don't you recognize me? Semyon? No, you're not Semyon. I noticed that Ulyana, who was standing next to me, had disappeared somewhere. You're not Semyon, and I'm going to murder you. In the trembling light, Shurik's hand appeared for a moment, wielding the metal rod. I covered my head instinctively. Nothing. When I opened my eyes, he had already disappeared. Ulyana stood next to me and giggled, holding the metal rod. Just like a scout. Yeah, scout. From somewhere far off, the devilish laughter of Shurik was heard. He ran away. Screw him. I don't care if he dies here. I spat on the floor and leaned against the wall. If it hadn't been for Ulyana, I wasn't prepared for that. Shurik might not have killed me, but he could have seriously injured me. To be left lying here injured would be equivalent to death. We don't even know when help will arrive. And would they be able to find me in the labyrinth? Why the hell did I agree to come here? Indulging that girl. You look like you're going to kill somebody. If a good candidate presents itself. Ulyana shuddered. No, not you. Might be nice to spank you, but there's no reason to kill you. She smirked. Yet. Oh, you. Okay, it's definitely time to get out of here. They can send up their special forces, rescue teams, Ghostbusters, whatever, tomorrow. I don't care. Will we be back? I looked around the room once again and noticed a door to my left. Wow. The door was just like the bomb shelter, a massive metal one. Pulled the wheel a couple of times, but it just creaked dully. If only I had a crowbar. It doesn't work? Ulyana asked in a depressed voice. No. Actually, I didn't have any strength left. In another situation, I would strain myself, ask Ulyana to help, look for something to use as a lever, but now I just wanted to get out of this mine. I wanted to hope that there was a path of least resistance for us to take, and that meant hoping that I remembered the way back through the labyrinth. Let's go back. Okay. She smiled and took my hand. We walked even slower on the way back through the labyrinth. Stones scattered under our feet. Water dripped from the ceiling onto our heads, feeling like drops of molten tin. Ulyana quieted down and followed me in silence. Did something happen? What do you mean? It's strange for you to be quiet for more than a minute. No, everything's alright. But something was wrong for sure. One fork after another. A minute ago I was certain that the next corner I would see the cross Ulyana had scratched before. I was wrong. My faith in my ability to guide us was melting away with each second. Well, whatever. I decided to distract myself with conversation. It's alright, it's just... But... It all went so wrong with Shurik, and now we're stuck here. You saved my life. You should be proud of yourself. I tried to encourage her, but Ulyana didn't seem to get it. But if I hadn't taken his metal rod away, he might have stayed. Whether he stayed or not, what's the difference now? We'd still have to get out of here, wouldn't we? Yes, but everything's all right. That cycle will find a way out for sure. I really was sure about that. Wow, this ends completely different. This whole route is totally different with her. Finally, we came to a long tunnel, on the wall of which was the cross. Ulyana cheered up a bit, and we almost ran the rest of the way to the surface. You see? The full moon shined above us again, and the building of the old camp didn't look nearly so ominous as before, especially in comparison to the bomb shelter and the catacombs. That was cool, wasn't it? Looks like Ulyana's gotten her usual cheerfulness back. I'm not so sure about cool, but I'm glad we got out. So, shall we go and look for Shurik? What? I was speechless for a moment until unable to even finish the sentence. Are you crazy? We already found him. Tomorrow, Olga and the police can go down there and catch that caveman to run tests on him. Well, no wells. Back to the camp to sleep. I walked rapidly from that dreadful place, ignoring the furious Ulyana. Ugh. Within 10 minutes, we were already back at the square. Okay, that's all for today. Dismissed, soldier. Ulyana saluted and was about to leave when she suddenly yelled and started to excitedly wave her hands. Look, look! I turned to the benches and saw Shurik lying on one of them. Oh my. It was really hard to wake him up, as if the caveman had decided to sleep for a year beforehand. Huh? What? Where am I? He mumbled in his sleep. You want to explain yourself now? Explain what? We've been looking for you all night, and you jumped at Semyon with a metal rod and then ran away. Ulyana jumped around the bench, ready to explode. What happened? Why am I here? Shurik seemed to come to his senses. Oh, do be so kind as to explain that. How did you get out of the mine? Why did you go there in the first place? Everything, step by step. What mine? There was such sincere surprise in his eyes that I started to doubt. He really might not remember anything. Where have you been for the last 12 hours? I don't know. Shurik sat and his face frowned with the effort of thinking. I went to the old camp in the morning. People say was some old equipment there for parts of the robot, and stared at us in confusion. And that's all. So you don't remember? I don't. Okay. I sat next to him and leaned back on the bench. The stars shone brightly in the sky. They remember everything. Even what Shirak was doing in the bomb shelter. Post-traumatic shock. Poster? What? Such symptoms are experienced by people after heavy stress, after disaster, for example. Shirak remarked with a smart look on his face. You should sleep now. Yes, but we'll speak tomorrow. Shirak looked at me for some time, but then he got up and slowly walked to his cabin without saying a word. So what is it with him? He's probably forgot everything that happened in the mine. He's lying. Look, why would he have to lie? So he wouldn't have to answer for when he tried to attack you with a metal rod, she said uncertainly. Doesn't look like it. And does it matter now? It does. We must find out. The criminal must be punished. If that rule was applied to you, you would have been placed under house arrest a long time ago, or worse. What does that have to do with this? Don't leap at people with a rod. I don't leap at people with a rod. It wasn't intentional. He's lying. He may be lying. I was really exhausted after today, especially this night. And I really didn't care whether Shirak, whether what Shirak was speaking the truth or just pretending to. The sentence was messed up. It really looks like he doesn't remember anything. I'm going to sleep. Then Ulyana jumped up and stood on her tiptoes. Good night. You too. I don't know. Seemed like there was something special in the expression of her face that moment. I didn't care. The camp leader had been waiting for me at home. I thought you wouldn't come back. I would have expected any reaction from Olga except that one. Since you went with Ulyana, aren't you supposed to worry about us? Why should I? You're okay. Okay then. I had neither the strength nor the will to argue with the leader or to find out the reasons for her behavior. Took my clothes off and crawled under the blanket. It's all too much for a single person. Looking for Shirak in the dungeons was a job for search and rescue professionals. Doing it with Ulyana for certified madmen? But it was, in a way, fun. I fell asleep with a smile on my face. Okay, then. So, after finding Shirak, go to the classrooms. What the heck is the classrooms? Clubhouse? No. Infirmary, kitchen, hall. What classrooms? There literally aren't any classrooms. Okay. I'm going to just save it here. In case whatever choice I make is the wrong one. I guess we'll go to the clubhouse. Okay, I need to refuse. No wire for you, enough already. Okay, I don't think it matters who I go with here. Guess I'll go to the infirmary. I don't know. Whatever. Library. Snatch it out of her hand. Clubhouse. Apparently Shirak is just fine. Doesn't remember a thing. Okay, and we're going to not do anything. All I was doing was just sitting watching a fire. And finally, well, not finally, but we can go to Ulyana. So we haven't done this before. I didn't think about Ulyana that evening at all. That thing with a cake. Like it didn't even happen. Though I remembered well her resentful, disappointed face. Maybe in some other situation I would never have decided to go to her, but now a fine reason to leave this place and end this stupid hike has appeared. Recalling that Olga told me to be prepared for new tasks, I decided not to ask for her permission, and after choosing a proper moment, I disappeared into the woods. Night fell on the camp. I mentally thanked the camp leader for not researching the land too well, since this meant civilization was only a few hundred meters away. Another long walk through the night forest was not in my plans. Soon I came to the square and hesitated. Won't it look silly? What would I tell Ulyana? Moreover, why would I go see her in the first place? My head was so heavy and full that there was no room in it for the development of any ideas. If I would compare my brain to at its prime to a broad highway full of speeding thoughts overtaking each other and causing giant chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in a distant desolate forest, which is only used in times of absolute necessity. So it's better not to think about anything and just act. But where should I go? Maybe to her cabin? What if she's not there? All of a sudden something knocked me down and I fell to the asphalt. It's a good thing I had time to stretch out my arms, otherwise I would have broken my nose. Gotcha! Quickly got up from the ground and saw Ulyana standing before me. What are you doing? Couldn't stop myself from shouting despite my best efforts. You shouldn't be stargazing, she answered viciously. What if I had smashed my nose or had broken my arm? I said more calmly. Well, neither of those happened. Look, why do you always mock me? I already regret my decision to try and ease your loneliness. Was today's punishment not enough for you? Can you even draw simple conclusions? It's entirely your fault. The smile instantly disappeared from Ulyana's face. What exactly is my fault? Everything. You mean I'm to blame all the time? Yes. She crossed her hands in front of her chest and turned away. Great. I suddenly wanted to get away from this place as fast as possible. But it was because of you I came here. What? I guess you are quite bored, given that everybody's hiking and you're alone here. I don't care, she yelled cheerfully. Well, if things are that way, what do you want to do? What do you mean? Well, if you came here because of me. Such a thought hadn't occurred to me, although I don't really know what I came here for. After such a greeting, I no longer want to do anything. Then it's up to me to choose, said Ulyana cheerfully and started to think. I stared at her for some time, but then couldn't stand it. Listen, if you're again planning to... I know! Let's scare the others. We'll dress up as ghosts, for example. It's going to be fun. I didn't find this funny in any way. Enough of that already. I began tiredly, but broke off. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. After all, by the time she thinks it over and gathers all she needs, Olga and the pioneers will already be back. If I came here because of Ulyana, then I need to play along. Perhaps you're right. What? She was looking at me with her eyes wide open. Are you going to agree just like that? Well, what's so wrong about that? And furthermore, if you insist. She studied me attentively for several seconds and then rattled off. Excellent. Then we need some bed sheets. We want to look like real ghosts, don't we? Probably. You go get them, Ulyana announced imperiously. Where do you think I'm going to get them? Take them off. Take them from your cabin, obviously. Wasn't that obvious to me. So you don't want to? She instantly made a gloomy face. Okay. I recalled the fact that there were spare sheets of bed linen in Olga's wardrobe, so maybe there was nothing to worry about. We approached the camp leader's cabin, and I said to Ulyana, wait for me here. Sir, yes, sir. She rattled off and saluted me. It seemed Ulyana was entirely immersed in the game. I think we'll continue this in the next episode, because we're running a little bit over time. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this so far, and we'll see you next time.